Get ready with me while I tell you about the married Republican congressman who used to try to get me to go to his beach house, and then he got a restraining order placed on him by his girlfriend that he was cheating on his alleged wife with for threatening to release her photos. And by the way, he's still in Congress.
Now, unless I missed it, which I might have, I don't think she mentions the congressman's name in her video, but she gives you enough information to where you can easily figure out who she's talking about. And she's talking about Cory Mills, the Republican representative from Florida. So she starts off by explaining that Mills was one of those guys that she sort of just like kept at bay. He hadn't done or said anything terrible to her, but he was kind of weird, so she just used him as a source to get information on things like votes. So let's hear more of what she had to say.
So he sends me all these random requests, and then the last request was him sending me a photo of the beach, I guess, at his house, saying, let me know if you ever want to come down to the beach house. So I just ignored that, right? As one should. But then a few months later, this man is making headlines because there was a 911 call to one of his girlfriends that he had and kicked her out of their home in DC. But this girlfriend in DC was apparently not the only one, because shortly after this report about the domestic incident in DC, this congressman's other longtime girlfriend, who I knew years ago, very sweet girl, beautiful, in her 20s, I think she's Miss USA, like very beautiful girl, files for a restraining order.
The girl who filed the restraining order against Mills, according to Ashley, thought that they were in a monogamous relationship. Apparently, Mills regularly hid the fact that he was still married from a lot of people, but a lot of information was revealed with the restraining order.
Mind you, simultaneously, this guy, while he's running for Congress, he is running on this Christian conservative, even though like he converted to Islam, this guy's so weird. And that he has this beautiful family and children, and they want more children. And he's just the perfect patriot, veteran, godly man. During this hearing for the restraining order, his girlfriend brings receipts for the most diabolical text like I've ever read. This man, she alleges that he was threatening to release photographs of her, send them and anyone else she was with, threatening any new love interest she had, and sending her videos of while he was under the influence. So her restraining order ends up being granted, to my understanding, obviously, because she came with the receipts.
So Mills, even with this restraining order against him, even with all of the receipts that are out there, he is still in Congress and is planning to run for re-election. This past February, Mother Jones did an article about Cory Mills entitled "Everybody Hates Cory," and the article discusses the restraining order, but also sex workers, bankruptcy, and accusations of stolen valor, accusations that Nancy Mace brought up just yesterday.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I request unanimous consent to enter a number of documents into the record. The first of which is a statement from Cory Mills, First Sergeant, stating his forms and accounts of his military service are falsified. The second document is a picture of Cory Mills wearing a Bronze Star from 2019, before he ever got a Bronze Star. The third document is a document that conveys a Bronze Star medal and his life-saving care to the wounded, and according to the soldiers who were there, they said it never happened, according to the men who were there. The next document is a transcript of a conversation I had with Brigadier General Arnold Gordon Bray, who confirmed that he did not review, did not read, did not physically sign the form DD, I guess 638, form 638, that Mills submitted for a Bronze Star. And to be candid, he said, quote, "I didn't look at it."
The Independent reports one of the issues Mills has come under fire for is receiving a Bronze Star, with people who served with him in Iraq in 2003 saying they did not remember him being in that particular battle and saving lives. Mace also submitted Mills' marriage certificate of his union at a mosque. In addition, she submitted a photo of Mills with a purported Russian sex worker in Afghanistan, and a restraining order he received for alleged dating violence. The bit about Mills getting married at a mosque supports Ashley's claim that Mills is a secret Muslim while cosplaying as an evangelical Christian, and the Mother Jones article on him is pretty long, but here's Ashley giving you some highlights.
There's also a really great piece, I think it's in the New Yorker, that just goes over this congressman and all of his shady business dealings as well, including overseas. They also interviewed people who were with him in the military, and these people did not hold back. One man who knew this congressman when he was in the military said he would not pick him if he was on fire. Direct quote. There is really no area of this man's life that makes him fit to be in Congress, yet he's still there. Yet they are not doing anything to remove this man from a position of power. And yes, there should be justice for certain files, but also you should keep that same energy for the men who are there now actively engaging in such horrific behavior.
She also said something that I found to be very telling, and that was that when allegations like this come out against these Republican members of Congress, and I specify Republican in this case because more often than not, stories like this are about Republicans, and because she is speaking specifically about Republicans, she said no one was ever really surprised or shocked by these allegations. It was known or understood that these were bad men who probably did or still do bad things. Despite all of the posturing as upright men of God and the church and faith, they all know what we here know, that they are not the paragons of Christliness that they purport to be. Unfortunately, their supporters don't seem to understand that. I don't know why people haven't got that yet. I imagine some of them maybe have, but just don't care that their chosen representatives are hypocrites and liars who cannot and should not be trusted. I think for them, maybe they assume that what one does in their personal lives has nothing to do with how they behave in their public, business, or political lives. And to some extent, I can see that. Just because you're a bad human being doesn't necessarily mean that you're bad at your job. However, when your job requires a degree of compassion for others, and when you're supposed to be held accountable to the people who elected you, you should be somewhat trustworthy. And it's not like we don't have evidence of these people lying, not just in their personal lives, but also in their public work. How many examples do we have of members of our government from both sides of the aisle manipulating the system for their own personal benefit and then hiding their actions from voters or outright denying their actions once they get caught? How much of our tax dollars are wasted on congressional or governmental schemes? If you're not trustworthy or have some sort of moral compass, you shouldn't be doing that particular job. This country is not a business. Governments are not supposed to be run like a business. Government is supposed to be about people, not the bottom line. Businesses want to save money wherever they can, but government requires that money be spent on the people, on the taxpayers. People cost money, but it's our money, it's not theirs. I think about Cardi B when I think about stuff like this, when she said she didn't want to pay taxes while the vice president was openly talking smack about her. These people aren't there to help us. They're just taking our money at this point. And if anything motivates the American people to rise up, it's their money. All right, that's it for me. If you got anything out of this, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more. Thanks.